Time for our very favorite part of the show, Disgrace of the Week. As always, Ms. Cahoon, please start us off.
Well, we're in the one-year anniversary of the pandemic hitting, the shutdown hitting. Today, we're supposed to go out at 8 o'clock and howl at the moon, according to the Hancock administration, which seemed to miss the fact that that howl was started by two Denverites. So that's going on. But I have to give it to our own reporter, who at my behest asked on March 23rd when the shutdown was coming down if pot stores and liquor stores were essential, because of course to us they were. And that started a 2-hour prohibition pandemic, the likes of which this city has never seen, a wild panic.
One of the craziest 2 hours of the entire year.
And it was my fault.
Penn, your Disgrace of the Week.
Yeah, to all of you out there who've been critical of the models that talk about trends in terms of the COVID disease, take a deep breath. Models are a guide, they're a prediction, they're an estimate of what will happen. The fact that they underestimated how many people passed away and overestimated how many people would get sick, it was intended to give you some guidance in terms of how to change your behavior. And thankfully, many of us did change the behavior, and we're heading and trending in the right direction now.
Natasha, we go to you.
At the risk of sounding like a curmudgeon, in my day, we used to walk our sled up the hill. So shame on the people who decided to drive up Ruby Hill and tear up that turf. And they're even talking about the potential exposure of asbestos as a result of that. Next time, let's just take our sleds up the old-fashioned way.
Here, Natasha, as a fan of Ruby Hill and also a fan, part of the exhilaration of sledding down the hill is because you had to work so hard walking up the hill. That's part of the thing. They cheated themselves out. Anyway, I'm with you on that one. John, we go to you.
Well, I wrote about this earlier, but my disgrace is the fact that the CSU Rams didn't make the NCAA tournament this year. Second time they've been left at the altar here in 6 years. It's pretty sad. And for that matter, CU deserved a better seeding. They're going to have a tough game this weekend.
Here to that, with both a CSU Ram and a CU Buff in my family. I root for both teams, and they were both not given what they deserved this year. Let's get to say something nice about somebody. Patty?
Susan Green, our sometimes colleague at this table, and the rest of the Colorado News Collaborative, which yesterday won the big Gene Otto Friends of Freedom of Information Awards. So congratulations to them and their new venture.
Here. Penn?
Dominic, sounds like you and Natasha both went to the same school of my dad that was uphill both ways. But I want to give a shout out to Manitou Springs and Aspen for being voted two of the friendliest places in the country by, I think it was Expedia.
Very nice. Natasha, we go to you for your curmudgeon. Say something nice.
For all the intrepid reporters who have really carefully been watching Casa Bonita's silence during the pandemic, kudos to Westward for reporting this week that we have some signs of life. I know there are plenty of Coloradans and people outside of the state, probably even more so, who are excited to know that there are some indications that they're coming back.
The flags for sopapillas are up across the entire metro area. That's good to see. John, we go to you.
Well, you can tell what I'll be doing this weekend, because my something nice is the fact that my North Carolina Tar Heels made the NCAA tournament and our rivals Duke didn't. And it's hard to tell which I like more, but sometimes I like it more when Duke loses than when Carolina wins. But that's what I'm going to be doing this weekend, watching college basketball as much as I can.
The North Carolina-Duke basketball rivalry is one of the finest in sports, so it's nice to see it carried on here with one of our favorite Southern gentlemen in John Frank. I want to say something nice about a member of our KBDI PBS 12 extended past family that we lost this week. Peter Chase was one of the early voices here at PBS 12 back when folks knew us as KBDI. If you were watching Channel 12 in the 80s or 90s, anytime in between shows you heard any of our promotions or underwriters, things like that, you heard Peter's famous voice. It was a wonderful radio voice that he shared with us. He even was on some of our pledge drives with Ted Critchell's back then, and really was part of the foundation of the station. We lost him at a too young of age of 75 this week, but as one of the people who is able to enjoy the legacy that he and so many others built, including Penn's dad, who was part of one of our first boards, I get to enjoy, along with all of our colleagues, the legacy they built. We are grateful for him and all the others that made this possible. He will certainly be missed.